You're kind of nosy, yeah.
Hey,
Yeah. Okay, I've got 10 o'clock. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Are we signed on with
Yep, we're
online?
good.
Gabby, okay.
Yes, sir.
If there's anybody online that would like to speak, if you would hit the raise your hand function and show video, state your name and address for the record, that would be appreciated. Thank you. Item number 2. Barry Simpson and Chase Gardefay, this is your last meeting. Chase can't be here today. Barry, we appreciate you being here one more time.
Oh, thank you.
Chase and Barry terms began in January 2019. Chase Gardefay served as secretary in 2019, second vice chair in 2021, first vice chair in 2022, and chairman in 2023, and first vice chair in 2024. Barry Simpson served as treasurer in 2019, secretary in 2021, second vice chair in 2022, first vice chair in 2023, and second vice chair in 2024. Some of the notable MDC projects during their terms include purchasing properties downtown, demolishing the Western United Life Building and J.L. Davis buildings, and negotiating an agreement to bring the Omni to Midland, Texas. Bringing Firehawk Aerospace, Castilian, and Starfighter Space to Midland. Investing over $2.5 million in small Midland businesses through the Midland Entrepreneurial Challenge. Investing over $15 million in new road infrastructure and projects, including Todd Drive, State Highway 191, and State Highways 158. Bringing Costco to Midland. We sure appreciate it. Barry, this is for your service.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks that we're around here.
Thanks.
Seems like a lot of money.
Would anybody like to make public comment, or any of the board like to say anything to Barry or Chase, an absentee?
We accidentally got you Chases. We do have berries.
Afraid I was gonna open this.
You're making him come back one more time.
We will run it over to you. Sorry about that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Barry, thank you for your service and
Oh,
for
thank
your
you.
leadership and for taking newbies like me and being patient. And so, now I'm not a newbie, and so, but I appreciate it.
Thank you. It's been great. I really enjoy it. And when I first came on, Cindy said, that's probably the only government thing you would come back for. And it's because we can do real projects like you just read off and make real difference in people's lives. And the story I always tell people is about when the truck drivers come in, you know, from Midland College. And you see somebody buys his own truck and now his son's working for him. I guess generational change. And it's just fun to be part of that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay,
I have to stay though, right?
what's that? Yeah, you have to say. Item number 3, motion electing the officers to serve through December 2025. MDC's bylaws require election of officers each January. We have a list of the board members eligible. Their eligibility does not expire until January 2025. Jill Pennington, appointed April 2020, term expires in 2023. Eligibility expires January 2026. Mercy Sams, appointed April 2020, term expires January 2020. This is not right.
First term.
First term, okay, term expires, eligibility expires in 2026. Brad Bullock, appointed April 2021, term expires January 2024, eligibility expires January 2027. Zach Deck, appointed January 2023, term expires January 2026. Eligibility expires January 2028. LB Brown, appointed October 2023, term expires 2025. Eligibility expires October 2029. So we have a slate of officers proposed for 2025. Mercy Sams is chair, first vice chair Jill Pennington, second vice chair Brad Bullitt, secretary L.B. Brown, treasurer Zach Deck. Do we have any public comment? Any discussion from the board? I'll call for a motion to accept the slate of officers. Motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion second. All in favor say aye. All opposed, motion passes. Item 4, motion approving the minutes of December 9th, 2024 meeting of the Midland Development Corporation. Do we have any public comment? Any discussion from the board? I'll take a motion to accept the minutes. Toby, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion to second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Item 5, resolution approving the execution of economic development agreement with Flower Child Baked Goods LLC and authorizing payment therefore. Flower Child Baked Goods will expand their businesses at a new location downtown and food production facility with $172,998 capital investment in creating 11 new full-time jobs by December 31st, 2030. NDC will provide an incentive of $50,000 with a security agreement. Is there any public comment? Owners of Flower Child are down here. Thank y'all for coming this morning.
Thank you for being here.
Do y'all have any comments you'd like to make or? Okay. Any questions or discussions from the board? Well, with that, I'll call for a motion to pass the resolution.
I'll make a motion.
A motion, we have a second. We have a motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Very much.
I will miss those smells every day when I walk into my office. They're in my building, they're on my floor, and they're down below, and it's,
It's a little quieter though.
Yeah.
and I'll be able to get in the elevator more often.
Yeah.
Thank you. Item number 6, resolution approving the execution of a consulting service agreement with DTH Strategies LLC in amount not to exceed $120,000 to provide for strategic and public affairs consulting and advocacy for the Midland Development Corporation. DTH Strategies will provide strategic and public affairs consultant and advocacy for the Midland Economic Development Corporation on all matters related to navigating Texas state government, monitoring development related to the space and space-related transportation infrastructure, and throughout the legislative session, tracking and advancing legislative and funding in the Biennial General Appropriations Act for items that positively or negatively affect the development of aerospace-related infrastructure for Midland. Do we have any public comment? Any discussion from the board?
Well, this asking, I guess, Sarah, this is the agreement we had before already in place, right?
No, this is a new agreement with a consultant out of Austin that's gonna provide these services. I got 3 different proposals from 3 different entities that had experience doing this. This individual came highly recommended to the chair, as someone who has long-term experience, and so that was the proposal that the chair wanted to move forward with, although all of you saw all the proposals that I received. The costs for all of them were roughly commensurate, but this individual had the experience that was deemed most desirable.
This is really important to us for a couple of reasons. First, we have a new legislative session starting first of this month. Secondly, we have the newly formed Texas Space Commission, which will be asking for appropriations for funding for space-related matters, and they have multi-applications, including one from us for potential funding. So potential legislative bills and things that could affect us would be, important that we know about, have a chance to comment on, and we could get a chance to react to.
There are also a lot of meetings and hearings that happen in Austin with relatively short notice that I can't go to, and the board member can't really go to if it's a couple of days notice. So having ATH on call. They will go to those meetings and hearings, advocate for Midland, represent Midland, and have a voice, and then be able to report back as well.
And Hodge is in Austin.
Yes.
He's looking.
Yeah.
And well connected. Well
Very.
connected.
Yeah, very well.
I think that's important.
Yeah.
For us, if not, we get lost in the parade.
I think it's really important. Any further discussion from the board? Okay, I'll call for a motion for approval.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Got a motion second, all in favor say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Item 7, presentation on the December 2024 monthly expenses and economic development activity report from the Midland Development Corporation Executive Staff, Director and Staff. Sarah, turn it over to you.
Yes, I was not able to pull the financial statements before I had to post the agenda and send it out, so your packet had the November statements, these are the December statements that show December's revenue, and then I will also call your attention to line 53909, which includes a $1 million disbursement to Texas Tech Health Sciences Center. That's part of NBC's yearly commitment to the child and adolescent psychiatry program. This is the second to last year of that agreement, so there's still $1 million remaining in that agreement before it terminates. Aside from that, I don't have outstanding comments on the financial statements. I will say on our receipts, the December receipts, which represent October sales, were up 3% year over year. They've been flat or down slightly for the past several months, so seeing an increase is a good sign for our cash flow going forward. If anyone has questions, I'm happy to answer. If there are no questions, I'll turn it over to Gabby for the marketing report.
Morning. So this report is, pulling numbers from January 1st, 2024 to, right at the end of the year in 2024. So starting with social media, we ended over on Facebook with 5,500 followers. We had this is very outdated now at this point. We had a reel go viral, there the last couple of weeks of the month. It was the Costco groundbreaking. And so, of course, everyone's really excited about that, but it was also really insightful. A lot of those comments were in Spanish. So it was really insightful to kind of see who we're reaching and then who's here local to Midland. And how we can kind of work through a strategy of reaching the Spanish speaking population here in Midland. Again, so the top post, the Costco announcement, the Entrepreneurial Challenge finalists from the beginning of last year, and then the Castellian announcement also had the most impressions, the amount of people who saw the post. At the time when I made this report, we had 366,000 total views on our reels. So Reels/video content is continuing to be a driver on Facebook and Instagram. LinkedIn, we ended the year at 2,464 followers with a total of 101,000 impressions. Our top posts were the Omni Midland announcement, the name flag announcement, and then the general Hotel Santa Rita detail post. And then again, that Castellian announcement. Everyone was very excited about Castellian on all the platforms, so that was really neat to see. And this was NBC social media, not Spaceport. Our reach continues to be Midland, Houston, Dallas, Austin, Lubbock, and Denver. I think the farthest I saw was a little bit up north, Boston area. But yeah, we tend to stay over here in the South. Instagram, we ended with 3,845 followers with 179,000 impressions. Our top post was the Costco announcement. There was a new report that was released earlier in December about our young business owners and how we are above average here in Midland. So that post performed really well, along with the latest information on our GDP data. Our reels had a total of 78,000 views this year as well. honorable mention, TikTok. We'll see what that looks like for 2025. We stopped posting, I think that last reel was probably about March when things got a little spicy. But we still grew in followers, views, comments, just with things living there. And so we grew by 409 followers from the previous year with
Nothing new.
131,000. Yes, yes, sir. And then I was able to see also what our traffic source was, and that the biggest one was searching. It wouldn't give me what the keyword was, but I'm assuming it's Midland, Texas. And then that second one is profile, so people just going to the MDC account. And then the lowest was the For You page, so that's what you open up on your home screen, and it just kind of feeds you what you think the algorithm thinks that you want to see. So I think one of our top goals at the beginning of last year was how can we change the perception of being searched on TikTok of Midland, what's coming up, and so it's really neat to see how that's working without actually doing any work.
And these users are overwhelmingly under the age of 30. So when you're looking at how young people search and perceive, they're using Google. They use TikTok. I think we're all feeling a little bit more confident about TikTok's political future and that there will be a solution found with the new administration. So hopefully we'll be able to move forward with this platform with some more confidence.
Same for the spaceport as well. I think we can use similar tactics and strategy over there. Some other activities that we do marketing wise, the newsletter, last year we saw an average of 34% with our open rate. That increased 3.8% from last year. And we also saw increases with our click rate and our click-through rate. We ended the year with well, so that number is not really true. I figured out actually last week when I was working on our newsletter. So HubSpot pulls out subscribers that aren't engaging with your content. And so we're closer actually to 3,000 subscribers at this point. I think Sarah mentioned this in a different meeting we were in. So those are the numbers of people that are actually active and clicking through our stuff. Our newsletter that went out this morning, I did send to everybody just to see what happens. So I'll have an updated number come February. Our website, I have information on the third quarter of last year. We saw 11,000 visitors with a high engagement rate. And our top page our most visited page is the things to do page that we have. Our home page and then our major employers page. We have visitors from Texas, California, Virginia, New York, and Illinois. And then just a brief overview of some of the other accounts that we manage. The Spaceport that was launched at the end of February last year. We ended at 151 followers on Facebook, 124 followers on Instagram, and 275 on LinkedIn. Founders Blend social media, Facebook is sitting at 530 followers, Instagram at 881, and LinkedIn at 139.
How much does that increase the Founders Blend this year?
Quite a bit, actually. We haven't really had reels go viral or anything, so it's kind of just local buy-in and people being excited. We have a lot of excitement about our first meeting actually on social media, so I'll be curious to see what that turnout looks like. It's here. Yes, ma'am. Here's that information slide. That'll be here on this Wednesday at 7:30 a.m. We'll hear from 2 local businesses and it'll be our first meeting of the year, so we're super excited. And that's what I have.
Okay, awesome. I moved to the middle here so that I can see you guys. Here is a look. January's meeting is always exciting because I get a look back on the full year of BRE visit. So this year I met with 49 businesses. As a reminder, I was on maternity leave from May to August. There's little Henry there, proud of that little maternity leave. And then just to reiterate, what's the purpose of a BRE visit? It's to establish a relationship with the company, make them feel heard and cared for by MDC in the city of Midland. And then I ask them questions about operations, and then I collect that data so that we can understand certain trends and feedback. And then we provide actionable data to the MDC board.
who, what, when, where, and why, just for more context. I focus on locally owned and operated businesses. I emphasize meeting in person at the business's office or workshop. And how did I decide what businesses to meet with? I depended on word of mouth, social media, founders blend. And then if it's ever a little slow, I do drive-by recommendations. So I'll drive through a part of town that I don't necessarily, it isn't part of my normal commute, and I will just note those businesses. And then this year, I used a Google form to collect my notes and survey businesses during the visit instead of handwriting the survey, just to help with my workflow. And the next part of the presentation is going to go over how I break down my survey. So the first part, I get a background on the company profile. So I learned that these are the primary types of businesses that I met with. The majority of them are service companies, not just oil and gas, but services could be something like a laundromat, or it could be something like a plumber, something like that. And I also did quite a few with childcare / entertainment, since that is something I routinely was hearing a lot of feedback about. I try to meet with those kinds of businesses. And then what form of organization is your business? Most of the businesses were LLCs. You can also see the breakdown of the other types of businesses that I met with. And then, do you own or lease your facility? It was interesting to see most people lease their facility. And then also work from home, that increased quite a bit last year. And then a small majority had, they owned the property. And then there were a few that are looking for a space or just whatnot. Then here's some pictures of some of those BRE visits. So since my background is in news, I got used to just taking pictures on these BRE visits and showcasing them on social media. While I was on maternity leave, I didn't do any posts on my Facebook page, but Gabby was able to keep up with that on MDC's page. And it's just a good way for those local businesses to get a shout out and have other people learn about them. And then these were the big factors that are impacting business. And I'll let you have a second to just read over this. And you've heard about these time and time again each month, but you can see that the biggest takeaways was we heard a lot about labor and we heard a lot about capital. Another honorable mention was inflation and the economy. I heard a lot about that during the fourth quarter. And then also marketing was another big topic. Just the importance of marketing, but how marketing is constantly changing. And so businesses that have a smaller team that requires a lot of time and manpower often, and that can be hard to navigate. So 43.8% of the businesses that I met with, labor and capital were the biggest issues for. It was interesting for me to see that it wasn't just labor. Last year, that the biggest issue for businesses was labor, but this year, labor and capital both were the biggest issues. And then I asked the businesses, what do you expect your business to do over the next 3 years? Most of them expect to expand more than 15%. And then here's a little breakdown of the labor trends. How many full-time employees do you have? Most businesses have less than 10. How many part-time employees do you have? Either none or less than 10. And then how do these businesses recruit most of their employees? A large portion of those businesses rely on word of mouth. Also recruiters, local colleges, LinkedIn, Indeed, and then social media. There's also honorable mentions, an intern program. I heard about Craigslist, and then vocational schools as well. And as far as employee recruitment and retention challenges, the largest issue is wage rates, and then area skill and labor shortages and quality of life are the other two challenges that businesses face when it comes to recruiting and retaining employees. And then we go into quality of life, that is typically towards the end of my BRE visit with these businesses, and these were some of the big topics that I've heard about. Schools, outdoors, there's Costco, family friendly, beautification, zoo, I heard about Christmas lights, trees. Those are some of the buzzwords that I heard about as far as quality of life. In some areas that Midland has the opportunity to improve quality of life, more entertainment for kids, more entertainment for adults, public safety improvements. I also heard about having more enhanced education options. And then a big one that I seem to hear a lot about was more outdoor activities and options. So there was a lot of excitement about the zoo, the preserve, Summit Center, having those outdoor walkable spaces. People were really excited about and hope that Midland has more of those things. Then as far as concerns for the future as it relates to business and or life in Midland, here were some of those buzzwords that I heard. This makes sense as far as the factors that were impacting business. I heard a lot about capital, money, an oil and gas downturn, children, all of those things. Those are just top of mind as far as some of the worries that people might have when it comes to business here in Midland. But I think a lot of this also just applies to businesses in general, not specifically in Midland, especially there in that fourth quarter when there was uncertainty as far as what the federal government was gonna look like come January. And then the final part of my survey, I connect resources. So connecting resources, how can MDC be a better partner for those businesses? Often we refer them, oh, that's a little hard to read there, but we refer them to Founders Blend, Data, the Entrepreneurial Challenge, Handshake, which is a online virtual job fair that employees can utilize to connect directly with employers. I also helped to provide a lot of that cost of living data that can kind of change the perception of the cost of living in Midland being high when in comparison to the rest of the state, it is very average or even below average. And also connecting them with Midland College or UTBB. And then it's very fitting that Flower Child is here because another one of those partnerships can be with our incentives for businesses and connecting them to how MDC can directly incentivize them to grow or retain their business here. And then Gabby went over Founders Blend a little bit already, but here's a little overview of some of those visits that we did last year. We met with 38, or at Founders Blend, we had 38 different businesses that have presented at Founders Blend, and that's since our very first meeting in April 2023. And attendance varies between 40 to 50 people each month. We have Founders Blend at 4 different locations: Second Story Co-working, the Seed Building at UTBB, Midland College, and Midland College Business and Economic Development Center off Florida. 95% of our attendees, they are from Midland, 5% are from Odessa. And then Gabby is very helpful about this because she helps to showcase 1 to 2 local businesses each month who donate money or they provide coffee and or breakfast food. And so that's another way that we can promote local businesses. And then we do this because of our community partners, and they help us to pull this off. So those partners include Midland College, UTBB, Midland Chamber of Commerce, BAM, Second Story Co-working, and Film Hunters. And then looking ahead as far as 2025, Gabby and I will graduate Leadership Midland. We hope to expose Midland to other companies looking to expand, either through local site selector events or fan tours, improve quality of life, parks, schools, community aesthetics, since we are seeing directly that that ties to employee retention and recruitment. And then continuing our Founders Blend meetings and continuing doing those BRE visits. And any questions?
Thank you. Any public comment? Any questions for more discussion on the board? Thank you. Okay, at this time, it is 10:30. We will now at this time retire to executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.101. The Board of Directors will hold an executive session which is closed to the public to discuss the following matters as permitted in the following Texas Government Code sections. We'll have to ask people who are not on the board to leave.